can all learn everything.
The organization cannot grow if the people in the organization do not grow.
If it doesn't translate into actions, it's completely meaningless.
We didn't have another option.
Female leaders say no less.
I need people in the team and all the organization teams to think.
I'm not here to work alone. I'm here to work together.
CEO is a very lonely position.
Don't give yourself the illusion that you will ever be done.
We are more flexible, we are more hungry.
We definitely had a vision. In my head it was very, very blurry, very blurry.
I'm not a big fan of values.
Staticus is breaking the stereotypes.
If the CEO is running to look after the screws, something is wrong.
All right, welcome everyone to our next Agile Insights conversation. Today I'm joined by two ladies, Ausra and Ilona. They are both responsible or in charge of a large, and they will walk us through this, construction company based out of Lithuania, I think. If I always get Latvia and Lithuania wrong, but I think this time I got it right. And I'm very much looking forward to this conversation because compared to many of the other conversations that I run, the two of them are not book authors like some of the people that I interviewed in the past. They're actual practitioners. So we can deep dive into a lot of the things that happen in real life. Now, today I have a bit of a sore throat, so I'm not at my best in terms of my voice, but it's not going to be about me speaking. It's going to be these two ladies. And I want to welcome both you, Ausra and Ilona, to our conversation. And I'm very grateful for you to give your time so that both me and also all the other people watching this either live or later in the recording can learn from your experience. So welcome to the show.
Hi.
Thank you. Hello, everyone.
Yeah, and Ausra and Ilona, as most of the people watching this probably don't know you, and I've met Ilona before, but I haven't met you, Ausra. I would like to get started with the two of you introducing yourself. So tell me a bit about yourself. What have you done in the past? What has brought you to where you are today? And what is your current responsibility? What do you do?
Ilona, you want to start? Floor's yours.
Well, I know you, Sohrab, you know me, but to make a short introduction, I work at the company Staticus as a COO, and I'm responsible for processes, digitalization, IT, quality, and as well the Agile transformation we are currently going through. And I joined Staticus, which is working in construction after being involved in a fashion startup. So I had quite a career change, and this is all because of Ausra, who I believe inspires everybody in Staticus that you can learn and do anything if you have the wish to do it.
Thank you, Ilona. You can keep going and telling nice things. It's nice to hear these things. So, hello, everyone. My name is Ausra Vankeviciute. I was born and raised in an entrepreneur family and have a good example. My father, who is the founder of Staticus. So, it's a family-owned company as well. And before becoming a CEO of this company, I spent 10 years in Norway, leading the Norwegian market and building up the market. And actually, I started a new hobby in Norway, which was horseback riding. And in the beginning, I really sucked. I was not very good at it. And my teacher was always saying, you need to be a leader because the horseback riding is about the leadership. If you're afraid, if you're scared, if you don't know what you do, horse gonna, run the way where he feels or it feels it's safe. And then I started to read about horse leadership and then, going to team leadership. I got more responsibilities, diving deeper. And that really helped me, to a small hobby, small detail, but it helped me to learn much more what is it all about. And I guess today we're going to discuss a lot about the leadership and this topic. So I got inspiration from horses, actually.
Cool. So thank you, too, for this quick introduction. Now, we don't usually get the CEO and the COO of a company in the same interview. So this is going to be interesting, especially to see whether there is consistency in what the two of you share. But you already sparked two topics that are probably going to be the focus of today. Ilona, you mentioned the learning piece, and that Ausra has created an environment where you, as someone who came in from a fashion startup, was able to learn and become a very successful leader within a construction company. And Staticus, and maybe to give some context in terms of size, how big is Staticus in terms of both people that you have and revenue, more or less?
So Staticus, we are more than 20 years in the market. We are operating in the construction industry. We do facades, or the beauty face of the building, which is the most important part of the building, if you ask me.
Of course.
It's visible, it's everybody sees, and everybody has an opinion. So we have a office headquarters in Lithuania, because we have a factory here where we have approximately 300 people. This number fluctuates. Then we have offices in 6 other cities: Oslo, Basel, Vienna, Stockholm, London, and also in Kaunas in Lithuania. And that's also our main markets where we operate. So in total today we are more than 600 people. We distributed ourselves. We are young. We call ourselves, the pragmatic visionaries and innovators. And that comes also, we have to be pragmatic because we are big. Today, this year we're going to do 80 million. Next year is 100 million euros turnover. So, and we work still in the very much code regulated industry, so we cannot have loose ends big time, because that's the safety factors all around us, what we do. So health and safety is everywhere in the design solutions, but also on site where we actually implement the work. And our industry itself, construction, is third from the bottom. I know in terms of the digitalization and innovations, the how to say, worse than us is agriculture and hunters. So there is some space for improvement in process innovation, in management innovation, in leadership innovation, in a lot of areas. So, long story short, that's where we are. Yeah. How big we are today.
So you mentioned around 600 people, if I got that correct. 80 million revenues today or this year, about 100 upcoming next year. This is a huge size. So it's not a small company that we're talking about. Now, the topics that you mentioned, one was the learning piece and creating an environment for learning. And the other one was what you mentioned, Ausra, is the leadership piece, right? And of course, these two things are connected. And I'd like to deep dive on these two a bit later in our conversation. But what I want to start with, you mentioned that, Ausra, your father founded this company. And at some point, you started working in that company. You led the Norwegian market for some years. And then you took over as CEO. How did that happen? Right? Was it a sudden takeover? Were you pushed in this situation? Were you prepared for it over a longer period of time? How did that happen? So that just we get the context for it.
It happened fast, I must say. I was always with the company. As a child, I was close to my father, and I was inspired by what he's doing. So the product itself, what the company is producing and creating, it was not new. And the Norwegian market helped me a lot to learn. I was, very often on sites with clients, and with also in Lithuania in the office. So I learned a lot, and then it was time where my father said, "Now is the time for you to step up." And to answer your question, if I was ready, no, I don't think you can be ready, to be brutally honest. And I said to him, "Okay, I appreciate your trust, and I will do it. I need your help, and I need to learn a lot, because I don't know a lot, and I don't know what I don't know also, right?" So I asked him to be close by. I asked also all the team to help me to learn and to grow for all of us. And I knew that alone I will not be able to do anything. So I need to have my team, because it's also a generation change. It's my father, he had his own team, and now I'm stepping into his footsteps, right? Which is totally different. His footstep is big and a bit fat. Maybe mine is smaller and slimmer. But, if I wear high heels, it can be really sharp sometimes. So it's also a message to everyone that it's going to be different. And the vision we have for the company is the same. So that's the most important, to align a vision and direction we go. And the way we do it, it's I have a freedom to try my own ways or our team's own ways. And then I started to assemble my team, and that's how I thought, okay, who around has, sparkling eyes, motivation, wants to do a change. And then I remembered Ilona, that I know such a person, and I don't care which industry she is in, and I'm come in, we need to make a change here because we can all learn everything. You can, it's not possible not to learn, else you are very lazy.
Okay, so you already mentioned a few things. That although you stepped in his footsteps, that you were aware that there is a change, right? Your footsteps, not only, you brought it up like visually, but also probably from a principles perspective, from like how you approach things perspective, how you think about things, it's different. While the vision for the organization stays the same. Now, you wanted to assemble your own team and you reached out to Ilona and probably a few others. Just for my context, the two of you knew each other before?
We started together.
Okay. So right from the start, when you started as CEO, you already had your own team. Is that assumption correct? Or you brought the team with you?
Almost.
Yeah.
Almost, yes. It was still some journey after I became a CEO to get some more people, but almost at the same time. Okay. Maybe a month's difference was between us.
So now you start as CEO and you bring in your team, and some of the people, for example, Ilona, do not have a lot of experience in this specific industry. What were the challenges that you faced? And you can talk about challenges with the employees, like the other members of that organization, challenges with maybe customers, challenges maybe what did competitors think about what was happening at Staticus? What kind of things happened? And both of you, like Ilona, you can also chime in because that's going to be interesting to hear.
It's interesting for me to hear also what was the challenge for Ilona, But from my point of view, just to start it, there is a lot of challenges, and even today, and the biggest challenge was transformation and from very hierarchical organization and to something new. And what's that new? I didn't know. And when I came in and I started to learn about the processes, how things are moving in the organization, how products are moving, how processes, how people are moving, I did not see connections everywhere. And that worked. This hierarchical structure of the organization worked, especially when my father started, like Taylorism was for many, many years, and that was very good. But in this environment today, when the world is very dynamic, complex, and fast, we have to be flexible and react very fast. The hierarchical organization where, CEO is, I think you do, guys, it doesn't work anymore. Or at least maybe I'm not that smart to be able to say what to do. And I said, I need people in the team and all the organization teams to think. And my mission is to create the environment where they can work in the teams together, autonomous teams, and think and come with solutions. And then I started like Googling and reading, and I say, Ilona, come and help me, because we have a little bit of a longer journey here than just, some names in the titles to change.
Yeah. Okay. So this is a great segue towards Ilona. Now, Ilona, you come in. She asks you to help. What do? You're completely new to this industry. How do you approach things?
I can tell you definitely that was and is still quite a journey I'm on. The most scary thing for me was because I have a I came here to help with processes, to help with the way things work, with the culture itself, and I have no idea how things work. I see the end result, which is very inspiring. But what helped me, I believe, the same things Ausra told her team when she came in. I'm not here to work alone. I'm here to work together. And my approach was always servant leadership, meaning helping my team to achieve their results, to listen to what they are doing, what challenges they have, and together with them, try to solve those challenges. This, I believed, helped to dive into the team, to be welcomed, to make people talk and show what's not working, and as well have the common goal to make this company better. And I think this leads us till now and helps us grow and achieve much more things than we even thought we could achieve at the first.
Yeah. So you brought up this concept of servant leadership, which I think a lot of people out there have heard already about, but maybe haven't seen in action yet. Now, based on what the two of you shared, I have a question. Ausra, you mentioned when your dad was there, it was more Tayloristic, right? He was the founder of the organization. He knew probably every bits and pieces of how things worked. He had created this from ground up. He probably knew every single person working in the org. And then suddenly you come in, right? And it's not suddenly, because you were already leading the Norwegian market. You are the daughter of the founder. People knew of you. But then you change this approach and you very openly speak about not knowing everything. And based on not knowing everything, you need to bring in different perspectives and change also the approach, how you lead, moving towards autonomous teams, what Ilona mentioned. How did that resonate, at the very beginning, with the people working in the org, right? I assume a few people were fired up, great, but I assume there were also a lot of people oh no, what is this? She's going to bankrupt the company, right? But how was it? I can make assumptions. You were there, so tell me.
It was some sleepless nights, but it was also very, very cool journey. It still is a great journey. And what I think, what we did good, and that's also together with Ilona, was we don't have a strategy, right? I would like to share with you the first picture of a new structure we imagined, which went to the board, because we have to confirm the structural changes in the board. And I was balloons everywhere, the bubbles, connections. And so that's the logic. That's how we're going to get the better results. Board understood, said, okay, and go for it. And I said, okay, but structure is a consequence of the strategy. So whatever we design here will not work if you don't agree all together on the strategy. What is the strategy of Staticus with me on leading the company? So we initiated the strategic session. We partnered with IMD University from Switzerland, and we involved all company, all organization. We had rounds of the interviews with everyone who voluntarily wanted to contribute. Then we got a group of around 30 people. We spent a week together, brainstorming, dialogue, conflicts, whatever. And then we crystallized the 5 directions we are going to work through to be able to achieve our objectives, which of course comes from the shareholder. And the way we are going to achieve it was agreed, and we all committed that we are aligned. And I think that was also a very powerful, and still is a powerful tool for the 3 upcoming years. Anyone in the organization, if works, knows why is doing and towards which or via which channel, I'm contributing to be able to achieve the results. And we have Boost Markets, Smarter Work, IoTs, and the XD and the Agile organization. And in the beginning, we thought that to make Agile organization, it will be easy. And we learn that it's not easy. The cultural change, mindset change is a big obstacle to move from department-based structure to team-based structure where it's transparent. There's no blaming culture because you are within the team. So you cannot say that or that department did not deliver because you have in the team that or that department. So guys, you have to, or girls, you have to sit down together and find the mutual agreement. And we all have to do what we are hired for to do. So if the CEO is running to look after the screws, it's something is wrong, right? CEO focus is to work towards innovations, future investments, of course, transition and culture. But the teams knows best how to design the facade. If I'm going to design the facade, I mean, I don't recommend to enter that building, but and I was so clear in my head that we have to agree also on our roles and responsibilities from the top down or down top, whatever we say. And that was not very much, how to say, appreciated by some employees, and by some it was very much appreciated. So we knew that, and we were ready that some people will leave, and that's fine because it's also a different way. You all are good people, just need to find the right fit, and definitely it was time for updates.
Yeah. Okay. So two questions from this, and one is probably quite short. The board consists of members of the family, your dad, I don't know, is outside people, and to what extent do they take decisions over whether you were allowed to proceed? Or was it more like okay, we're going to update you, this is what we're going to do, but we're going to do it no matter whether you like it or not?
Second. But in the board we have external and family.
In a father-daughter relationship, like when my daughters come to me, it's more of an update. They never ask for permission. So
sometimes I do ask for permissions, but it was. I strongly believe in it, and I don't. That's the only way I know how to lead. And if I have to lead not in my way, I can't lead. That's it. Then we have to find another solution. And in our board, we have external people, my father, also internal people. So it's just, that's the fact. Current situation doesn't work. We can, earn minimum amount of profit. We can have not engaged people, and we can exist. Yes, we can do that. Is it fun? No, it's not fun. I think that we spend a lot of time at work, and we have to have fun. We have to find the purpose in what we do.
Yeah, absolutely. Fully agree. Now, the second question goes to Ilona, because Ausra, you mentioned, yes, there were some people who were not happy about it. And that probably affects then operations, right? And Ilona, you as COO, how did you deal with that, right? Did those people immediately come to you and say, I'm not happy with this, I'm going to leave? That would be like the easy way. Probably not, right? A lot of people go, what we say in German, innere Kündigung, like internally they quit, but they're still there. But that affects daily operations. How did you deal with that, Ilona?
I believe we are still dealing with that. And yes, I do not recall anybody coming and then saying that I'm quitting. I heard a lot of, but we did it otherwise for 20 years. It worked. Believe me. Why do you need that change? What is it gonna bring to the company? So these were the most common sentences I believe we heard. But as Ausra said, she has always a very big belief that it will work. And then her team and our teams know that this needs to happen. We can make mistakes. Then we need to recap, do a retrospective, learn, improve, and go forward. And this approach we have with all our employees. We say that we believe in the result. We explain them in detail why it is happening and how we expect the result to be. If it's not straight away obvious, or we see something not working as we want to, we together with them try to analyze it and decide how to move forward. So it's again a team approach. And yes, we have optimists, we have pessimists, we have neutral ones. But the more we go forward, the more everyone is understanding why we are doing this. And the less we hear, there are so many changes in here. It became like, a constant, and we all of the time say we are a learning and growing organization. The organization cannot grow if the people in the organization do not grow.
Yes.
And I believe this is very inspiring and should be inspiring for all the people in the organization, that I'm allowed to grow. I learn new things. I can do mistakes, but I grow. And in the result, it is a very, very positive impact towards the whole organization.
Oh, I can imagine. Now, going back to so I had noted for myself, right? What kind of challenges did you face? You mentioned some of them. How did you approach them? You mentioned some of that. And which principles did you apply? And listening to what both of you mentioned, like being aware that we don't know everything, right? That in itself is a principle, right? Then based on that, being willing to learn. And you mentioned this now, Ilona, several times. Having strong beliefs, right? In the moment where you don't know everything, having a good belief system is incredibly important, because that belief guides you. And I want to deep dive into that a bit later. But then you also mentioned teamwork quite often. And Ausra, you mentioned fun. Now, let's start with this aspect. You come in, right? You are the daughter of the former CEO. You are young, right? You're still young. Back then you were even younger. And you approached us with we also want to have fun. What did people say? What did they think? Right? Here comes this person. We have a pretty good business and she wants to have fun.
CEO is a very lonely position, as you might know probably. So I don't know all the feedback, what people were thinking or still thinking. Maybe Ilona knows more insights on this topic. For me, it was important to eliminate blaming culture very much. And with blaming, there is no fun. When you just focused on why I didn't do that because of him or her not doing this or that. So that was a bit of the challenge, and I think we are succeeding. We are really, really succeeding this big time. Still a long way to go. Mindset change is not there yet where we would like to be. But then there's a good atmosphere in the team, within the team, and it's transparent, and there's a trust within the team members. That's also, brings the self-satisfaction. It's cool things we do, because we really do cool things. We work with the most world famous architects. We build, offices or hospitals in the major cities in Europe. So it's nothing not to be proud. We are extremely proud of our projects, but the projects are delivered by our people. So I am myself proud of myself as well, and for all of us in the company, and how to transform this to employees, that guys and girls, be proud, do together, fight together, and find the common agreements together. This is blaming each other. It doesn't really work hand in hand with my belief, my approach, and not for our organization. And it can be very good professional, but if the culture is, to blame, to fight within, then we would rather say, we appreciate your talent, but, the culture of it is not there yet.
Yeah. And I mean, working together, achieving stuff together, that in itself is fun. And if you have a bit of humor along the way, it makes it even more fun.
Yeah, not to be afraid to celebrate. I mean, we don't need to get drunk, but we can celebrate in different ways, go hiking tour, go to see the project we did. It's like, now this remote work and everybody works from somewhere on the computers, not going on site. And I think it's a very good celebration to go and to see and touch. And that's the difference from the IT sector. We can really go and take a picture with our product, You can.
Like a developer taking a picture in front of a screen because they just created a new feature, right? But yes, in your case, it makes sense. Absolutely. So you mentioned again beliefs, and I've mentioned earlier that I want to deep dive into this. You come into this company, the two of you together. You have this rough sketch, and Ilona had shared it with me prior to this conversation, like a ton of bubbles on a whiteboard. But there is a strong belief behind that, and both of you can speak about this. How often did you have to talk and speak about this belief, right? And how did this belief get refined over time? And where do you believe are you today? Are you still in the phase where you're like, we really don't know what this is going to be? Or do you have a bit more concreteness around it so that you can sense it for yourself? Ilona talked earlier about now she sees that vision, but she's not there yet, but that motivates her.
Ilona, go ahead.
Yeah, I definitely can say that, let's say our Agile journey, our cultural change journey started, I would say, 2 years ago after the Scrum Master courses I took with you, Sohrab. Then we definitely had a vision. In my head, it was very, very blurry, very blurry. Now, I believe that the picture is much clearer because we know and we can list the challenges we need to solve. We know how to do it. We just need, energy, motivation, power to tackle those challenges. And the biggest challenge, I believe, was, that we in construction business with a very wide value chain, with a lot of interdependencies, we're trying to do something nobody has done before. So you cannot copy paste, you cannot ask someone and get an exact answer how to go where you want to go. So there was a lot of trial and error and trying to improvise in the process. But I believe we're definitely in the stage where there is not only belief, but already a clear direction.
And actions.
A clear direction and actions in terms of the organizational structure, right? But you also brought up earlier the topic of leadership. And being in this conversation with the two of you, I think we also branded it as female leadership. And this is now something that I want to explore. What beliefs guided you in your leadership approach? So going beyond organizational structures and design, what beliefs guided you in your leadership approach?
It's actually a very difficult question. Thank you for asking it. And recently I also raised this question for Ilona and for some of our colleagues. What does it mean, leadership in Staticus? How can I understand? I need to keep it skis, keep it simple, stupid. And me and Ilona, we had the same understanding about the servant leadership. We don't want to micromanage things. We want to give autonomy to the teams. And but are the teams ready for taking the autonomy? Are they equipped? For example, the project manager, is he equipped to lead the team? What does it mean to lead the project team? How is the report? Like all the simple operational questions, but they are very important questions like reporting. Am I reporting to my department head or I'm reporting to my team lead and things like that? Learn, do retrospective back and forth, and then implement the bigger changes. So to go back on the leadership, we agreed on our certain behaviors within the management team, how we're going to behave. And I will not be maybe popular here, but I'm not a big fan of values because I don't understand what does it mean value. I understand when we behave, but people say is a value for me family. What does it mean? I don't know. Not to go to work or go to work and never come back to home because you need to earn money for family. So how to interpret that, right? Yeah. So let's have values in our heads, but the behaviors we have to agree how we are working together and how we are leading our team. So that's support, of course. Don't do the micromanagement, do the feedback, coaching sessions, retrospectives, and etc. It's a big topic still a big topic.
Yeah, no, I like the point that you brought up about values, because I have the same conversation with any organization that I talk to. Right, I'm like, what is culture? They're like, yeah, the things that we value. I'm like, okay, so the stuff that you put on a poster and put it in the canteen. They're like, yeah. I'm like, no, it's not. Right? I don't believe that. You brought up the example of family, like trust. Every organization is like trust.
Exactly.
Okay, what does that mean, right? If it doesn't translate into actions, it's completely meaningless.
Exactly.
So what we always have to look at, be it mindset or for an individual or culture for an organization, is really about the actions. And the two quotes that I always share, one is from Edgar Schein: culture is how we do things around here. It's all about actions. And the other one, I love that, from Tom Peters, is culture is the next 5 minutes. So how you approach things, how you show up in the next 5 minutes, that's going to determine, especially as CEO, COO, other people in leadership positions, that's going to determine the culture of that organization, because people are watching you, right? Then they're not only watching you, they're affected by your actions. So how you approach things, how you deal with people, how you talk to them, how you give feedback, all of that ultimately translates into the culture. And you can come from a set of beliefs, like I value people having a family, and based on that, define then actions, right? Not having people work longer than necessary or whatever. But as long as you don't live those actions, again, the value is completely meaningless. So I think you haven't made yourself unpopular, at least not in this conversation. Now, getting into this, you have your beliefs, both of you, and you get together as a team. There were other people involved. It's not only, I'm speaking to the two of you, but obviously Staticus, including the leadership team, is much bigger than the two of you. Are there specific things or beliefs, and based on that actions, that you would tie, and I'm specifically asking you this, to the two of you being women and not men in this position? I'm curious, and that's why I'm asking.
Yeah, it's a topic. Normal. I don't like this topic normally, but I am very much involved in this topic because I'm invited to talk a lot. And my personal belief is that, and I try also to push it in Staticus, that we hire talents and personalities. We don't hire gender, color, nationality, name it. So that's not an obstacle for us. And it happened so that we have quite a big number of the females in our company. So we have an executive team. I think we have 50-50 or 50-50. In engineering, is still a way to go, and we have approximately 17% of the females. Mm-hmm. Installation definitely zero, and that's a very sad point. We have to do something there. Production is around 13% of the females, so it's getting there. Like compared 10 years ago, we were like I was alone almost as a lady, except the accounting department. And does it make a difference? I think in general, diversity makes a big difference. So that's where we have to focus more different people from different cultures, because as you said, culture is 5 minutes and we all are people. We have feelings, but we are used to behave differently due to a culture or behaviors in certain markets or countries, right? So, and you can learn a lot, and it's really, really interesting what you can achieve by having a diverse teams, including also the gender difference. So that helps, especially it helped in the production. I remember when why we went for the females in our production, which is again not very female-ish work in our case. It was a production manager came with a list like why no, a very long list. It's heavy, it needs speed, they don't understand engineering, it's construction, la 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 la. But we didn't have another option because it was lack of people. It was like boom in the market, and we needed employees. So we had two options: either to accept the no and to have economical consequences and to be late on in our projects, or to bridge the no with potential opportunities and say, okay, let's give a try and maybe have economical gains as well here. We can talk a lot soft, but in business we have to also think about economical consequences. And when it happened, we had to adapt our line operations. So we had to add more automatization. We had to think about lifting or weights of certain products. And now when I think why male or female have to lift heavy things, if machine can do it, it's much more efficient, right? So without like this actual external push, I don't know how long we would be waiting for this change. And then now the feedback from the production is that, okay, lines are more clean, people are more polite, is more structured. It is something, contributes to each other and people in the lines. And also there is a tendency that females are more precise, and we have like silicon glazing jobs or more where you have to be really precise, and the quality also increased of certain operations. My invitation to all the companies is like, don't be blind, don't always say no, try to bridge no with potential opportunities and be open-minded.
Yeah. Maybe that bridging the no in itself could be one of the principles that is more common in women leaders, like trying to make things work. I don't know, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Ilona, how do you see that?
I actually would agree that female leaders say no less and that they try to make things work. And it comes back from, early days when we still would live in woods. The main point and the main task of a woman is to keep her family fed, safe, and together. So you have to do that. But if talking about stereotypes, I think, yes, that in this case, we want to talk about it or not, Staticus is breaking the stereotypes. Mm-hmm. I myself grew up in a family where my mother and my father worked in construction business the whole time. And my father closed his construction business because he got 2 daughters. So he knew that he wouldn't be able to pass such a business to a daughter. Because
or he thought,
yes.
He didn't know. He thought.
Once I announced him that I'm joining a construction business, he said 2 sentences. Why the hell did I close the construction business? And second was, do you understand what you're doing there? So yeah, there are stereotypes, which I believe we are breaking. And I believe in Staticus, both female, male learn from each other and have a lot to learn from each other. And the whole diversity is, again, a good ground for leadership growth and growth in any other way.
Yeah. So you mentioned in the executive team, it's already 50-50. And in other areas...
Two-thirds, Ausra. Top management is 2/3.
It was 2 weeks ago, it was 50-50.
Yeah. 2/3 women or 2/3 men?
2/3 women.
2/3 women. Okay. So, and in the other areas, it's moving, right? It's much better than from the time when you joined. Now, how do you also mentioned, like in production, what the feedback has been? How do customers look at this? do they even care? Or like, is it something where they're like, oh yeah, we're going to work with this company because they have this like more equal positioning of women? Or is it like, no, they couldn't care less?
It's both, because I'm very close to customers. I can give funny stories as well, and I can give real stories. But I'm happy and I'm proud of our customers, because I don't get anymore the comments that we are female dominated leadership team, and from our company actually the most seen people in the conferences and anywhere is also females. So I'm proud that the feedback is that, you have a tough team and they appreciate our professionalism, and we are different, and that's seen straight away. And the biggest also, like that also is a help of the Agile. When clients come, they see, of course, the leadership gender, and they see the transparency that's they don't see in the other companies. And I say, we don't have anything, to hide. And I'm really, really, really proud of it. But funny stories to tell. I was once selling a project in Norway, and our project manager was she, and the estimator or the bid manager was also she. So three of us going to the meeting with the client. I knew one person. I didn't know the client's project team. And we come to the construction site, all dressed and all nice. And we come in and they say, hello, we are going to have a meeting, and they led us to canteen or the kitchen. Please sit down. And I say, we are not here from Staticus. We are going to sell or to have a meeting about the facades. And like the eyes were like this, the project manager was 72 years old. He definitely did not expect to see three young females. His face was transforming, very straight underestimation, straightforward, judging. I'm a little bit used to it. And okay, it's for me is, bring it on. I will show you here. And it was in the beginning, it was not nice. It was sharp. What you girls are going to do. The vocabulary was insulting. And we had an opportunity to stand up and leave, and we had an opportunity or choice to show that we can do different. And we locked the project at the end of the day with that client. But I still remember, and I remember to them the story that they have also something to learn from. So in maybe 10 years ago, it was more on this topic on the as a wow. Today I don't see it, or maybe the clients got used to my face or our face.
Got used to your face and a lot of other women's faces coming from Staticus. Now, you mentioned that client, or back then potential client, underestimating you. In my career, I've always seen this. Initially, I was like, oh, why are they underestimating me? But similar to you, right? Bring it on. Because when someone underestimates you, you can really when they bring it on, you're like, I'm on top of my game, right? And then you can surprise them, right? If they underestimate you, you can really surprise them. And when you have that professionalism, they probably wouldn't say about someone else, oh, that person's really professional. But when you surprise them because they were not expecting it, it turns out to be like something beneficial. So I've always found this interesting.
Yeah, I take it as an advantage. And many people, I'm underestimated, and go and cry in the corner. Yeah, that's your choice. Go and cry. We can also go and cry, but you can also understand and feel sorry for the person who is underestimating you and say, okay, now the show starts. That's cool,
Yeah, instead of feeling sorry for yourself, you feel sorry for that person because you know what you're going to do. And that was the second piece. You said you had a choice, right? You got insulted. You had a choice to leave, right? And say, we're proud, we're leaving, right? We're not going to work with them. But you choose to not leave. And probably it was not only about, we need to win this project because we need the money. Probably it was around, no, if we show that we can get this, we not only show it to the customer, we also create a story. And I'm sure I'm not the first one to hear this story from you, within our organization, which ultimately translates into the culture. Has that happened?
Exactly. That's exactly as you say. Sorry to interrupt you. That's, we showed our professionalism. We attacked them with very technical questions. They did not have answers. And you're like, how come you don't have answers? Like bang, bang, bang. Okay, here you go. This is a tough cookie. And it was really a very nice process for me and learning process.
So where is this journey going to go from here?
To the brighter future.
A bit more detail, please.
I don't know what to expect. Listen, it's my third year as a CEO, and I started 2019 May, and 2020 COVID hit the fan. And
I was going to say, you started at the right time.
I started at the right time, exactly. And then 21 material crisis hit the fan, and 22 war started. What's gonna be 23? I don't know. I definitely know that the teamwork that helps us to adapt to needed changes faster. We are more flexible. We are more hungry. Then maybe everybody's hungry. Maybe we are more hungry. And we are more focused to reach our results and to go for, next steps for us and our dream is to make totally autonomous teams. And that's the journey we are starting now. And it's difficult.
Oh, I can imagine. Now, going over to Ilona, what do you see as the biggest challenges in the next few months, maybe 1 or 2 years, other than the external factors that none of us can predict?
Yeah, we have the internal joke that OSHA attracts all the external factors to make our skin as thick as possible, that nothing would scare us away from reaching the sky. Internally, totally my opinion, my personal view, what I see. At first I was thinking it's, the structural change. It's so scary that the company can fall apart, the process change as well, how to do that. There are so many dependencies, everything is so complex. But now I would say the biggest challenge is the cultural and the leadership change. And it is inevitable. And it has to happen in order to support everything what we are building and what we want to achieve.
To agree on the actions, how the actions are connected with OKRs, how it's connected to each of us in the company individually, and this mapping and how we shall behave and how we shall not behave, do's and don'ts, and on the helicopter view, and also going to the smaller teams and to have the circulation in the organization. That's our next steps. So we have 1 year to go to make an agile organization fully. So it's still a lot to do, and we are very open with any feedback. And if somebody has gone from or had this transformation from total hierarchical structure to full autonomous teams, we are open for a dialogue, to learn from everyone, actually.
Yeah. Now, I would add to that. I think you mentioned you have 1 more year to make that full agile organization. For me, when I work with clients, I always say, don't give yourself the illusion that you will ever be done. Because that's the whole concept, right? We can continuously improve and become better at doing things. And I think if maybe in 2019 you had to convince people that the world outside is changing faster, starting 2020 and the crises that you mentioned, I think you don't have to convince anybody anymore that the VUCA world is also happening into the construction business. But I don't see any choice for organizations to become that resilient. right? To build that capability of constantly adapting what they do, right? What kind of products and services they offer to their customers and how they work. Now, there are some, on the meta level, some principles that are going to stay, like good teamwork, communication, all like decision making, autonomy, all of that, because they support that learning journey. But the learning that Ilona mentioned at the beginning, or the leadership that you mentioned at the beginning, Ausra, those are things that any organization needs to become better at, right? There is no organization that can claim for themselves, oh, we are already there, but that hunger on continuously learning, I think that's going to be tremendously important for you and also for others. I love that conversation. Given that we have almost reached the end of our time box, I want to again take the opportunity to thank both of you for making yourself available, sharing all the insights that you had, also the challenges, the funny stories, all of that. And I would love to continue this conversation at some point again. Maybe I'll come to Lithuania and we share a dinner together.
Welcome.
Always welcome.
All right. So thanks to the two of you. And you also mentioned, Ausra, if someone's out there who sees this and wants to continue this conversation with you, they can also just reach out to Staticus. What I've seen so far, everyone's friendly. And so don't be shy. Don't be afraid. They're not going to bite, although they're tough.
Sometimes. Thank you very much for inviting us. And thank you very much also for your support during this journey. And we make a difference when we all work together. So.
Absolutely.
Thank you, really.
Absolutely. Thanks to the two of you.